Well, I'm not going to sit here, as you know, and praise COVID or the COVID response in this country. Everybody knows that's not exactly something I'm going to do. But oftentimes in life, something I've learned in my 44 years is there are good things that can come from bad things. Without COVID, this country's ridiculous response to it, I dare say we probably wouldn't have the great Dr. Jay Bhattacharya as the head of the NIH, and it blesses me to no end that that's where he sits. Dr. Jay, be honest with you though, the digs have to be way worse than it was at Stanford. It's a lower standard of living, isn't it?
I mean, I did have to take a 60% pay cut, which was fine. And then, yeah, I miss California. But, this job has its perks. There's a lot of amazing scientists, and I get to learn a lot about, sort of how they're working to make America healthy. So there's that.
Okay, tell me, by the way, speaking of making America healthy, tell me about canceling $500 million in funding for mRNA. I don't know if we're still calling them vaccines or not. What is it? What happened there? Can you explain it, please?
Sure. So we have had ever since basically 2021, actually 2020 even, a big investment in producing mRNA technology for basically for vaccines, mainly for the COVID vaccine, and we've kept this investment up even as the uptake of the COVID vaccine has just declined very sharply. Like I think 60% in 2024, 60% of adult Americans said they'd never take another mRNA shot again. If we're going to invest in vaccines, we need a technology that's broadly accepted by the American people. It can't just be like a minority of people want it. So instead, what we're doing is we're transitioning away from this platform of mRNA, where there's been so much because of the pandemic, and especially all the mandates and all. I mean, the false representations that the vaccine can stop you from getting and spreading COVID. People have lost trust sort of legitimately. So we're transitioning away from that toward other technologies that are much more promising. For instance, there's a project that I just heard about for maybe getting a flu shot that actually works once and you never have to take it again. If that actually works out, think about that. Like a safe vaccine that doesn't, you never need the flu shot again. There's a whole bunch of promising technologies we're going to invest in instead. So that's the main thing we're doing. We're transitioning away from this mRNA technology as a platform for vaccines toward other more promising technologies. At the same time, we're going to keep looking to see if it can be made better to work for cancer and other things. We're not getting rid of the technology altogether.
Doctor, Donald Trump's former Surgeon General, Jerome Powell, this is what he said.
For folks who may not be familiar, though, Margaret, mRNA stands for messenger mRNA. It's a natural molecule that's in all of our bodies. These are advances that are not going to happen now. People are going to die because we're cutting short funding for this technology.
Doctor, I guess we don't have to go into the details of that, but it was so different back then during COVID than it is now. How much different is it inside the walls?
I mean, I wasn't inside back then, but I can tell you, it's pretty exciting now. Dr. Adams, I think, is just do a little minor petty thing. He's wrong that it's not actually messenger RNA that the technology. The mRNA technology is called modified RNA. It's different than the RNA that's in our body. In fact, there was a whole Nobel Prize awarded for this, so I'm not sure why he got that wrong. It's also not true that people are going to die. I mean, I think the uptake of the COVID vaccine is so low compared to what it once was, and COVID itself has transformed into something for the vast majority of people much milder than it was, say in 2020. And so I think he's living in 2020, seems to me. And inside the walls, I just sense hope and optimism. What I see is a lot of optimism that new technologies are coming out, that we got rid of all the DEI grants. We got rid of all the sort of the politicization of this agency toward things that are actually might have a chance of advancing American health. I mean, if we just do our mission, right? Our mission for the NIH is support research that improves the health and longevity of the American people. I mean, that's the spirit I'm approaching this job, and that's the spirit I think that most people here now are moving forward with.
Doctor, we saw obviously in recent years so many of our institutions that the American people previously trusted, prove themselves to be untrustworthy, to put it as mildly as I possibly can. But we have to earn that trust back. I mean, look, putting Dr. J in charge helps, but it doesn't earn the trust all the way back. Now people sneer, they roll their eyes when they hear things like CDC, NIH. How do we get that trust back?
I mean, first, I think it's very important that we admit our errors, right? I mean, look, what happened during the pandemic was just a travesty, Jesse. And you covered it as well as anybody. I mean, you had me on the show when I was canceled, so that definitely helped me a lot. And I think that we have to just start there. We have to say, look, here were the mistakes we made, and here are the concrete steps we're taking to solve that problem, right? So I'll give you one example that I'm quite proud of that President Trump did. A couple of months ago, he signed an executive order saying that there was not going to be any more dangerous gain-of-function research funded by the U.S. government. It's quite possible that some of this research that, unfortunately, that the NIH funded might have contributed to the causing the pandemic. It certainly was dangerous research. When President Trump signs that executive order, says, look, we're not going to do this kind of dangerous research. We're going to instead focus on research that might advance your health if we do it right. That's a concrete step. You can point to that and say, look, we've taken an action to protect the American public from dangerous things and move toward things that are really worthwhile. We have to do both. We have to take concrete actions to acknowledge and fix the things that came before that were problematic, and then actually have to produce. Like if we have to solve all the Alzheimer's crisis. We have to solve the obesity crisis. We have to cure type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes. We have to actually there's a big advance, for instance, in sickle cell anemia. They're now a cure for it. Things like that, where we look and say, look, we actually are doing things that are useful for our health. We're not going to use our power to win some social justice war. We removed DEI from our portfolio because it wasn't advancing the health of anybody. I mean, it's just politicizing science. Things like that. It's going to take concrete action. It's going to take time, and most of all, it's going to take humility. I'm not here to lord over people. I mean, I view the work of scientists and of public health as servants of the people. That spirit is the key to making the American people trust us again.
It's nice that we have organizations that are no longer partisan, but doctor, when I hear you talk about tackling obesity, couldn't that be interpreted as really something that helps Democrats?
I think it would help everybody. I mean, it certainly could help me a little more if I could stand to lose a few. I think the key thing is scientific advances are that advance health are inherently not political. They're inherently not political. If you have a scientific advance that gives you tools to make your life better, then it's not a Democratic thing or a Republican thing, ideally, right? Ideally, the NIH should be seen as a resource for all Americans. I think if you look back the past few years, I think the way that the NIH got used, it was often a tool for the Democratic Party. They would call themselves the party of science and try to make some contrast with Republicans as if the Republicans weren't also the party of science. Science has no partisanship if it's ideally done. Ideally, science is the common heritage of all people, and if we do things right, we can get answers that help people solve their most thorny health problems. You put up the science. There's no such thing as the science. Science is a process for discovering how physical reality works, and our job is to translate that physical reality so that it addresses the most basic needs of everybody, not partisan.
Gosh, it's so refreshing to have you there. I'm so happy for you, Dr. J. We will break bread soon when I get back there. I appreciate you. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.